is a stage play, was one of a trilogy that was called The Collage Project, that was staged at Victory Gardens Theater, now the Greenhouse space on Lincoln Avenue. And it deals with an aging Bauhaus architect who admires the city from his high apartment dwelling. And as he's looking at the city, we discover through an unanswered phone call that he is an estranged father and husband and grandfather who, looking at the city and thinking about his personal life, starts to realize the implications of his less is more principles of architecture, and recognizes that to strip away ornament and to make functionality the only purpose for everything in the world denies a cultural heritage that's been accumulating among human beings for several millennium. And so he comes to an epiphany about the nature of minimalism and his new commitment to bring the museums out into the streets and recreate the images they contain for utilitarian needs. Support Jacques Demoise with regards to Balanchine and Diaghilev so that Baryshnikov can take care of himself, and on and on and on in an extended monologue, eventually deciding that he must nurture the future and become more involved in the life of his grandson. As for Sign of the Times, a third title by Puddin'head Press, Sign of the Times is also a stage play. It is a verse play that takes up the issues of postmodernism and attempts to make a statement about the implications of a paradox with regard to postmodern thought, which is that everything is considered to be derivative, and at the same time, everything is what it is and nothing is referential. Well, you can't have both. Either everything is derived from things that are created from the past, or everything is new and stands independent without any contextual frame. And so we try to explore those ideas in what I hoped would be a rather interesting fashion. The introduction is kind of amusing to me. I'll read just a section of it. This is by William McNeill, a professor of philosophy and the author of The Time of Life, Heidegger and Ethos, as well as The Glance of the Eye, Heidegger, Aristotle, and the Ends of Theory. So what, come on through, sir.
I have to, all right, thanks.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Yes.
Good meeting a former colleague.
Yeah. I gotta run. All right,
So-
6:15 tomorrow.
What Bill has to say about Sign of the Times is, from its prologue to, from the beginning, or even before the beginning, from what anticipates and thus exceeds the beginning, one thing is clear. This will be a play that raises many issues and yet, paradoxically, is about nothing. Not, it should be noted, about absolutely nothing or absolutely nothing, as rather something such as a beginning could come from absolutely nothing, but rather about a nothing that permeates and surrounds every something, first enabling the present moment, the present of each and everything now, here and now, just for a moment, a nothing that is thus at work at the heart of time itself, a nothing that is an operative force, at once positive, first making possible both presence and its approach, opening expectation, possibility of a future that is not yet, and negative, infusing with all and absence into every presence, a slipping away of things themselves, their receding into an unfathomable darkness that language itself inhabits as it seeks to trace, to signify, and convey the approach and withdrawal of things themselves in themselves' most concrete, tangible presence. Language not only inhabits this abysmal nothing, this nothing indeed first calls forth the possibility and necessity of signification, thus of thought itself, as a response to the slipping away of things, of beings as a whole, in their very approach. Every gathering of things into the present moment is always already subjected to a dispersion wrought by nothing. Well, I have no idea what that means, but it seemed like an appropriate introduction to my work. And so the work then follows with the lines, this is the beginning of nothing, and ending with the observation that that is a sign of the times.